Howdy guys, welcome to my little guide on how to make and play a very mobile wizard to do solo greater rifts or play with your barbarian friends who spin to win and can provide any CCs, that's crowd control, or demon hunters who do tremendous damage but can be killed by props and sceneries in the game. This is a slightly modified version of the standard Tal Rasha wizard build that's popular all throughout Season 3 with patch 2.2. But I've incorporated the Kanai cube since the footage is of the lull period between Season 3 and 4. Nothing I've done here is revolutionary or original. I'm making this video because some of my clanmates have asked me about my wizard from Season 3, and this way I can point them here instead of telling them individually over and over and over and over and over again. This is a very heavy resource spending build that hits like a truck because frankly, you're very squishy, and if you don't melt them first, they will make you roadkill. So let's go over some of the stuff you need. Let's look at active skills. On your trigger finger, you're going to want Shock Pulse. Since it's a signature skill, it won't cost you an arcane dime. And with the Rune Piercing Orb, it just turns into a cute giant bubble of death. So while you're playing, you glance over your blue arcane tank and you see it running low, teleport away from the mob, turn around, and spam the skill back at them. The orb will fill up in no time. On your alternate trigger finger, you're going to want Blizzard, because it gives you reaction time to those really fast mob by raining down huge AoE snowstorms. And with the Snowbound rune, it puts Blizzard on sale for the price of 10 arcane power instead of 40, so 4 times the fun. On the fingers that I never use, such as my pinky, I have Storm Armor with Power of the Storm rune to reduce the spell by 3 across the board while it's active. To me, this is the weakest of the skill, but nevertheless, it does provide you with some oopsie room, and the reduction in spell cost stacks over time. On your other seldomly used finger, I have Force Weapon with Conduit. That Conduit rune is key to damage and resource generation when used with the Focus and Restraint ring. You'll see what I'm talking about when we talk about the rings. On my middle finger, I have Meteor with Meteor Shower rune for AoE damage. So don't be fooled by those huge damage numbers of the other runes. That tiny little number on Meteor Shower means a whole lot when you multiply by 7. And then with 7 meteors with AoE on them, you get your resource back to the Conduit rune from the Force Weapon with each mob it hits. On my pointy finger, I have Teleport with Calamity. That Calamity rune is your survivability, as it stuns people for 1 second, which is an eternity for a wizard with an itchy pointy finger. I'm usually across the map in under 0.5 seconds. And plus, this skill is a work of art when you use with your main hand, the Aether Walker, and your Defender Bracer. You'll see what I'm talking about when we talk about them. Now let's look at your passive skills. First up is Unstable Anomaly. This is your free 1-up passive, and one of the sources of the stun for your Defender Bracers. The second up is Elemental Exposure. This synergizes with your Tal Rasha Set bonus, so it is key to this build. It is also your main source of damage. Look for the little icon above your active skills that look like this one, and as you play, try to keep a 4 stack. The more you play, the more you'll get a rhythm on how to keep the stack up. This is key to your damage. Third is Audacity, which amps your damage when you are in the thick of things, and with this build, well, you're pretty much in the thick of things all the time. The fourth passive skill is Blur, which turns you into half of a barbed monk satyr with their 30% automatic damage reduction. This fourth skill you can change out depending on how good you play and what kind of toughness your gear provides. So you can either change this out for, say, let's say, Glass Cannon, or keep with Blur. Let's go over the fun part and the reason why we even play this darn game, and that is the gears. On your main hand, you will want Aether Walker. I don't care if it's a crappy one, you just want to get that in your hands as soon as possible. This is the centerpiece of your build. What it does is it turns Teleport, which usually has a cooldown period, into a spell that now just costs arcane power to spam. This becomes your mobility and your survivability thanks to the Calamity rune, so when you hit Teleport, it stuns everything, in addition to doing damage. On your offhand, you get Tal Rasha's Source, and you'll want crit chance of 10. You'll also want crit hit granting 4 arcane power to help you regenerate the insane amount of resources you're going to be running through. And you want meteor damage close to 24% if possible. On your 2 rings, you're going to want Focus and Restrain to give you the 50% damage multiplier on independent rotations. And do the skill Magic Weapon with Conduit rune. Anytime you press a button, it will spend Arcane, which satisfies the resource spending. At the same time, said spell, when it hits something with the Conduit rune, will then turn it into a resource generating attack, thus satisfying the resource generating aspect of Focus and Restraint. Remember, on your rings you want intelligence, crit chance, crit damage, and a socket. On your shoes, you're going to want nil first boot for the insane, like nearly 200% meteor damage multiplier, along with Cinder Coat for the 20% fire elemental percentage boost, and the reduction in fire resource costs. These two amplify your meteor, because it is your primary damage dealer. For your bracers, you're going to want the Parthen Defenders, and when you use teleport, you stun stuff, which procs the bracer's defensive specialties for your survivability. Here you want main stats, vitality, fire percentage of 20, and crit chance of 6. On your shoulders, get Pauldrons of the Skeleton King, as it is your oopsie and another free 1-up skill by giving you 25% of your health back and make everything scatter like you just farted health, which you kind of did. Alright, let's go over Paragon point allocation. On the first tab, you're going to want to put everything in intelligence and pretty much nothing else. You'll see some other people who tell you should put it in movement speed. What do you need movement speed for? You teleport everywhere. Movement speed is just a big loss. Just put it all in intelligence. Some other people will say put it in arcane power. I mean, if you really manage your resources carefully, you're not going to need it. You just really need a lot of damage, and that's what that first tab is for. On the offensive tab, you're going to want critical hit damage, and then critical hit chance, and then attack speed, and then cooldown. You really don't need that cooldown part. So just the first 3 is good. On the defensive tab, you want armor, you want life, you want all resist, and then life regen. On the utility tab, you want cost reduction. That is so key. Then you want area of damage, and then life on hit, and then gold fine. Now let's go over the legendary gems. The gems you're going to want is Bane of the Trap, because every skill that you use is pretty much a source of crowd control, and so that will amp your damage. Taeguk is next, because that is your defensive and offensive skill. You're going to want to upgrade this as much as possible, because then you get more stacks. And the more stacks you have, it provides more defense and the more offense. So also you don't want to die, because if you die you have to restart your stack, which makes you weak. Next up is the Gem of Efficacious Toxin. This does constant dot damage for big bosses. Dot damage is damage over time on big bosses with tons of health. It doesn't really show up very much on those little tiny bobs that you'll just blow over with your meteor and your blizzard and stuff. You can play around with Ice Blink and Bane of the Powerful, but after playing with all those two, everybody just seems to come back to Bane of the Trap, Taeguk, and Efficacious Toxin. Alright, let's talk about the Kunai Cube. This is the area I have the least practice on since of this video's creation. It just came out. But in the weapon slot, I have Furnace for the 50% elite multiplier. Pretty much that's a no-brainer, and I think everybody's going to be using that except for Demon Hunters. In the armor slot, I have St. Andrew's Gauge for the 10 seconds of steroid health that it gives. And frankly, if you don't kill something in 10 seconds, you need to move on, because it's going to end up killing you first. In the jewelry slot, I have Convention of Element. This is one of the new rings, and I wish that I could use it, but because of focus and restrain, I never got a chance to until now. What this does, it gives you a nice little effect around your tune. But more importantly, it plays Russian roulette with the element skill, so when it procs the right time of an incoming meteor or blizzard attack, oh my goodness, stuff just melts. But at the same time, if a reflect mob has a flare-up and you just call down a meteor strike, and Convention of Element decides to dial up fire, in the immortal words of Bill Paxton, game over, man. Alright, let's develop a strategy on how to play. I'm going to try to time a little bit what I say with what's on screen, but if I don't, just try to imagine what I'm trying to do here, because I'm not very good at video editing yet. But what you want to do is you want to teleport all over the place. And while you teleport, as soon as you get there, you want to rain El Nino and Katrina on their asses. So you want to burn and freeze their butt. The two skills that you don't want to spam is Magic Weapon and Storm Armor. And that's why they're on your weak fingers. So you will start to develop a rhythm the more you play, and you can have tons of fun playing cat and mouse with the AoE that the mobs are trying to put under your feet while you rain death on top of their head. So if you map your keys like the way I do, for your main skills, you're going to have them on home row. So with the raised nub on the F key, so you can find it real quick in the dark. So when you go into a new area, you're going to hit A and S, which is Storm Armor and Magic Weapon. And then you're just going to set it and forget it. For the rest of the time, you're going to rotate between F, which is your teleport skill, and D, which is your meteor. So you're going to F into position, and then D down on them. and you're going to F away to a new area, and then you're going to F back to a new area, and then press D down on them again. Rinse and repeat. During this F and D, you're also going to be spamming your left and right mouse button. By doing F and D and your right and mouse button, guess what? You're going through all 4 of your elements: lightning, arcane, fire, and cold, to build up your stack to satisfy the elemental exposure passive and the unique set bonus of your Tal Rasha. So you combine that with the timing, your focus and restraint, and the randomness of your convention of element rings boost, and when the lucky time hits, you're going to be doing crit damages in the billions, while most people are trying to tell you, oh, I'm hitting mobs in the millions. You're like, yeah, whatever. So, oh, by the way, don't die. The one bad thing about playing Glass Cannon, I mean, you're just worm food all the time, and it's not even funny. And you know, it's a lot of cause of expletives on my part while I'm playing, and a lot of gray hairs. Okay, let me see if I can finish this video off with what I did at the Griff Boss. With this Griff Boss, well, each Griff Boss is different, so the strategy is different. But for her, she tries to put a little AoE damage underneath you, so you just need to avoid it. She will also try to teleport to where you are, but since you can teleport, you can go away from her. So my strategy here is to send that little cute big old orb of death at her to regenerate my arcane, and then rain down blizzard and meteor right on top of her, and then teleport away to do the same. If you notice my stacks, I try to get a 4 stack down at there, right above my teleport skill, in between my teleport and my orb skill. And so I'm just teleporting back and forth, avoiding her, stunning her, sending all this stuff down, and then teleporting away. She's sending some stuff right at me, so I teleport away. She's putting that black stuff down on me, I teleport away. And also I save that shield pylon until the very end, because now I can stand right on top of her, spam everything I've got, and then, boom. I am now ranked 394 in North America. And of course, when I do something really cool, my clan just talks about each other and what they gotta do and ask questions and stuff. But you know, when somebody does something really nice, I always congratulate them. But when it's my turn, oh well, nobody was around when I did this. And I did it on purpose too, because when there's people around in the morning, I can't concentrate and do anything. So this is why I play at obscure hours, so that no one bothers me. But for the most part, this is how you make a wizard that can do a solo Greater Rift 54 without any problems. I'm not a very good skilled Diablo player by any means, but if I can do this, then pretty much anybody can. Next season, I'm going to play a Crusader, so hopefully I will get good at that and maybe make a guide on how to do that. But this is my clear for 54 and non-seasonal at the end of Season 3, right before the beginning of Season 4. Thanks for listening, guys.